Hi, hi, hi. Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing? Welcome to today's Hot Mom Live session. Let's wait for our viewers to join and for my co host, most especially. Yeah, I'm adding my co host. She's joining. Hey, beautiful. Think she's having internet issues. Hey, can you hear me? Oh, the internet is really bad.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me? I can hear you now.
Yes, I can see and hear you very well.
All right. How are you? How are you?
Very well. Good evening.
Try and
Can
adjust
you hear me?
yourself in the camera. You're on one side.
Can you
Me?
hear me?
Yes, come to the middle. Yes, baby.
Okay.
Just adjust your phone a bit. Yes,
Is it
yes.
better?
Yes, but
Okay.
your forehead is now cut off.
Okay, so should I move it closer or backwards?
Go
Which one
backward.
now?
Go back. You go backward a bit. Yes, it's okay. It's okay now. Yes, it's
Yeah,
okay.
better now.
Okay.
How are
Okay.
you? How are you doing?
Very well,
Your,
thank you.
your
Good
audio is very low. I
evening.
think you should put it on speaker. Your audio is very low.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, it's better. Yes. So take it away.
Oh, good evening. Good evening from this part of the world. Good afternoon, Dr. Ifechi. Good afternoon,
Good
viewers.
good
We are
evening.
so sorry about the delay. So
No
sorry
problem.
about the technical itch, please. Yeah. Good to see you again. How are you all doing?
I'm
Fine.
doing okay.
Okay. Um, the last time we were here, we talked about the entitled, we talked about entitlement mentality, and we said entitlement is somebody having that they believe that one has a claim or authority over something, and because it's a wide topic, we we um, we focused more on the entitled parents, and we talked about an entitled parent is one who just feels that they have the right to child's child's total life, their money, their activities, everything about them. And it was quite an interesting topic. And today we decided viewers, we had a lot of comments, and we agreed that we are going to go on a part two of that entitlement of the topic, the entitled parents. So let's keep it. Let's kick it. Dr. Ifechi, you were with
Yeah.
us the other time, and I guess you could still say something about, or we continue from where we stopped last week.
Uh, yeah. So, good evening, everyone. Good morning to some people. Good afternoon to some people. Um, so the part that we talked about is entitled parents. Um, like I mentioned in our previous conversations, uh, communication is one of the factors that we, need to really have as a continuity to what you have stated before. There's no need going back, rewinding the clock. Now on this topic, I think we should be looking forward to, yes, we have people, have parents that feel entitled. What are the ways that we can use to change the situation, and what are the ways we can use to move forward, and what are the consequences that we might see that might come out from this, because it's a big change. Um, Part of it, which is cultural change. We can't divorce where we are coming from. It's just like somebody knowing how to do something for a very long time. All of a sudden, you tell him you can't do it this way again. There's going to be a restraint. There's going to be a pushback. So all we should be talking about is how are we going to find the solution to this? What are the root causes of the entitled parents? How are they? Why do we even feel that they're entitled? Because if you are facing east and somebody asks you where is your front, you say this is my front. If you are facing north or west or south, and anybody asks you where is your front, you're going to say this is where I'm going to. So based off on the situation, it depends on what each individual defines as entitlement. What can be entitlement to you might not be an entitlement to another person. So those like the parents don't see it as an entitlement in terms of, relations or anybody feel that they're entitled. That's how it works. So, but before we move further, I'd like Mr. Ikedion Obi to chime in as another gentleman in the forum so that we can have his own view that we can now brainstorm. Then, we'll have a round table discussion.
Hello, Dr. Fechi. Good evening. Good evening, ladies. It's good to be back on the program with you. Sorry, I wasn't here last week, but I was able to listen in, and I had a bit of the discussion. Like I said in my note last week, that I believe in reciprocity. If you train a child up well, he will not abandon you. If you do your duties as a parent, the children will, as an act of love, as a show of love, not abandon you in your time of need. The main thing is to give them a pathway, point them in the right direction, and let them run with it. The sense of entitlement is a terrible thing, and it should not be. The question, I deserve this, I have earned this, I made sacrifices for you, I carried you in my womb for 9 months. All those are the kind of things we hear from entitled parents. You've not sent us the money, you've not done this. Those things shouldn't come up. But those are things that will come naturally from children who feel grateful, who want to show their parents love just because they received love, just because they are able to, just because they have the means to. All fingers are not equal, and sometimes entitled parents put children under pressure and make them go far and beyond what they can ever do. You cause sibling rivalry. You cause children to try to outdo each other because they want to please you. It shouldn't be. It should be something that comes free will. It should be something that comes from a place of love and and not a place of compulsion. It should be a choice that everybody will make and not an obligation. So that's my take on that. Children should not be an insurance for parents. This is my child here. As far as I have 10 children, I'm settled for life. They'll take care of me when I grow. It doesn't follow that way. Yes, it's good to happen. Yes, it's expected that children will reach out to their parents and take care of them, but it is not something of compulsion. It's something that comes from a place of love. Thank you.
Madam, you're the one moderating.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much, Mr. Obiora. You know, those were the things we also talked about last week. We talked about children, parents not having children as investments. We should have children because of love and not because they are insurance or they are investments for us in the future. We used the one-time BBN winner as an example, as a reference. We read and we talked about how her father went to social media to talk about her not being supportive or not caring for him again after she won the prize money. And he was also trying to draw a pity party for himself, because from a lot of comments were like, why did she do that? No, now this, that. And there were a lot of comments. But as at 3 days ago, or immediately after then, he came back again to social media to say she actually, when she won the money, she actually bought a car for him and all of that, but that she told him to sell some of his work materials, his work car, that was going to replace it, and she didn't do it then. That was why he was trying to draw all that unnecessary attention. But from what we also said, we should be able to, children should be able to help their parents without them being put under any kind of pressure at all. It should be a willing, it should be a willing sacrifice from the children, and not parents with that I owe you mentality. You owe me this and it must be accomplished. So if we have more comments on this, Ejiri, you can pick it up from there, please.
Yeah, actually, we tried to do this part 2 today because of popular demand. They wanted us to come back. But first and foremost, I want to say good evening to everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Mr. Obiora, nice to see you. Ifechi, Dr. Ifechi, thank you for coming. And Madam Moderator, thank you so much for the hard work of moderating. I appreciate it. Like I said, we decided to speak about it today again because of the demand for a part 2. But the person that even asked us to do one of the persons that asked us to do the part 2 is not here. I would have loved her to come speak, but she's not here. But anyway, we will carry on. We spoke a lot about the topic, the entitled parent, in our last session. And today's part 2, I want to make a reference to another video that I saw online. The video is about a certain girl. I think she's trying to look for admission to go into the university. Her dad is a pastor. I sent the link to you. I don't know if you saw it. Yeah, her dad is a pastor, and they were in a vehicle. I should think it's their personal vehicle. It didn't look like a taxi. It didn't look like a public vehicle. Maybe it's an Uber, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they were in a private vehicle. And as they were going, the girl did the video. Her parents, we could hear her parents speaking in the video, and we could see her face, but we didn't see her parents, right? First and foremost, I want to condemn her decision to bring that kind of video online, because you know, bringing stuff on the internet, you will always be subjected to scrutiny. That's guaranteed. So the fact that she brought that video online, on the one hand, I condemn it. On the other hand, I see it as a cry for help. I see it as a cry for help in the sense that it's possible, this is not the first time her parents are saying this kind of things to her, you know. I would think that she had her request denied too many times, or her parents' approach to parenting her had been in this kind of way for so long that she wanted to capture this and just put it out there because she's tired. Maybe she's tired. I'm just thinking. And this life is not to judge any parent. We're just trying to see the different opinions, you know, different views on this topic of entitled parents. So, to the story that whatever ensued between her and her parents. She has a birthday coming up, and she asked her parents for.
Her parents asked her to say what she wanted.
Okay, her parents asked her to say what she wanted for her forthcoming birthday.
For her birthday, yes. The gift she wanted for her forthcoming birthday.
And she said she
wanted an iPhone. She said she wanted an iPhone, and then that was where the parents, precisely. iPhone 8, yes, precisely. That was where the parents picked it up from there. So unknown to them, she recorded their conversation, and like you said, we heard the parents' beats where they were scolding her or talking about her not being able to gain instead of her to struggle to gain admission, she was asking for iPhone and all of that.
Yeah.
Continue, Jimmy.
Oh, okay. So yes, you're very correct.
Yeah.
And the way the father responded to that request, the first thing that came out of his mouth was nothing points. He said nothing points to the fact that my future is secured in your hands. I don't know if you heard that part. That was the first thing the father said. That nothing points to the fact that my future is secured in your hands. And I don't know how you want to respond to that. I also understand. Okay, so let me say this. Last week, I went over the video that we did, and I listened to Ifechi's submission. And I kind of tilted towards him a bit simply because our parents' generation is different from our own generation. Our parents were raised to raise their own kids to be dependent on them, or to depend on their kids, you know, to raise their kids to take care of them. I think that was it. Ifechi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
I can hear you.
What happened that the both of them, maybe it's their network. So, because what you were of the opinion that this topic of parents being what do you call it again? Entitled should not even be on the table. You said that because based on the fact that where we come from, our country, you know, we are a third world country, and there are a lot of things that our government is supposed to put in place that are not there. And the culture also is that when parents are aged, when the parents have done so much for their kids, the kids are supposed to take care of their parents when they are old. But what we're trying to say here that as a strong parent, as a parent that is still strong, our own generation, I think we should relieve our children of the burden of taking care of us, of making us their responsibility when they also have their own responsibility. So why I tilted towards your side is, hold on, okay. Why I tilted towards your side is because so somebody is asking to join. Let me just add the person quickly. Okay. So why I tilted towards your side, it's because our parents grew up in a generation where they were taught to raise their kids, to take care of them. That's the generation they grew up with. They grew up in. But our own generation is different. We know that we have to work towards our retirement. We know that we have to prepare for the end of our lives while we are still strong and able, so that we don't carry our burden on our children, because our children also have their lives to live. I mean, if you want to get, for the viewers, if they want to get a context of what we discussed last week, we can go to the previous video, right? So now, this man, what came out of his mouth first was to secure that he cannot even, nothing points to the fact that he can secure his future in his daughter's hand, just because she was asking for an iPhone for her birthday. So for me, it looked like he had, in fact, I'll go to the rest of the talk, but based on this one alone, Ifechi, now tell me, why would he, I don't know how old he is, the only information there is that he's a pastor, and you can see that the girl is young, so I don't know why he will be thinking, for a guy that has not even entered the university, you're already planning that your own future, not her future, your own future is supposed to be in her hands. I don't know. If Siboso, you have anything to say, you can just do your hand so that I'll call you. If Ifechi, I'm sure, Dr. Ifechi, I'm sure you have something to say in respect of that. I don't know if you also saw the video again. I don't know if you watched everything again to really understand the various perspectives and bring to the table what you have to say. But before you do, remember this, that the man also went on to call her names. He slut-shamed her. He said things like, you're already corrupt. In fact, you're not corrupt. You can go and sell your body. You can go and sell your body.
Yes.
There are those who have admission to study medicine. There are those who have been asked for iPhone. That's how come you are coming to ask for iPhone when you have not even got admission to study Yoruba. You understand? So he said a lot of things to her. He insulted her verbally. He abused her. That's verbal abuse. If you listen to that video very well, just because she asked for iPhone, because I feel like there are better ways to handle these children, parents, relationship issues. There's always a better way to handle it. But I kind of want to excuse the man, because the economy in Nigeria is very hard. Not be say, as you know, say, a bag of rice be how much now? You can't ask for iPhone. Do you understand? I understand from that perspective. He might be under a lot of pressure, and she probably didn't read the room before she dropped that. But I'm neither here nor there. But regarding myself and our generation, the advice I will give is to prepare for your end time. Prepare for the end of your life. Don't dump it on your children, because you don't know what will become of them. They don't even know how they will turn out in future, right? But for our parents, we can excuse them. I think, let me put it that I'll just put that caveat there that we can excuse our parents because they grew up in a very, very different generation. And they trained us, they raised us to be like them. That is why somebody like Ifechi, I know that you keep sending things home to your brothers, maybe not because you're the last, maybe to friends or to relatives, to distant relatives, to people who ask for stuff, you keep sending to them. Because of that upbringing that you have to keep taking care of people back home. They call it a name here. They call it the black tax. And these people back home actually sometimes take advantage of the fact that, oh, now you be senior, come and take care of us. Now you're supposed to take care of us. Like I said, you are even the last born, so I don't know. But for us who are the senior in the family, the elder one, we were raised to take care of our younger ones. That is what was engraved in us. Do you understand? Because that was all our parents also knew. But we are trying to say now that it's not something we should embrace going forward. So I think I've said a lot. If there's anything you want to say, I know you have something to say. So yeah, Ifechi, do you want her to speak first before you speak? I mean,
Let us speak.
Okay,
Let us speak.
Okay.
Ladies
You
first.
can speak. Okay, see.
Good evening. Can
Good
you hear
evening.
me? Good evening,
Yes, we
Mr.
Yes,
can.
we can hear you.
Yeah,
Good to see you. Good
thank
to
you.
join you.
Yes, nice to see you
Okay.
too.
Thank you.
Put on your
My own
camera.
view.
Can you put on your camera?
Can you see me? It's
Yeah, we
dark
can see
here.
you.
The network
Okay.
is poor.
Okay, carry on, carry on.
Yeah.
I want to say, referring to this particular reference, this girl, I also watched the video. I want to say that this girl is being abused directly in the name of love. The parents of this girl are entitled parents. They have abused this girl in the name of love. She has been influenced by her parents in the name of love, by providing everything she needed. The parents, probably before now, anything she needed, they've been giving her in the name of love, not giving her her own way. That is why when they ask, she asks for that iPhone. So I want to say that she has been abused directly in the name of love, because so many entitled parents abuse their children in the name of love without knowing. That one, love, they love their children, they care so much about their children. I want to give an instance. Some parents go ahead by going to the schools to buy gifts to teachers, to give their children grades and awards. Meanwhile, some of these children don't do well academically, they are not sound. Instead of you to encourage them, you go behind to buy gifts to teachers. And when it comes to things like quiz, debate, they are not always called to come and join their mates to participate. And when these children comes out, you see them, they have this low self-esteem. They are not able to associate with their children. Their parents have lost that thing in them. They have closed that page for them because they did not give them their way. They use money, they use love to get everything for them. So in this particular case, I think this girl has been abused before now in the name of love. So she wanted her way. That is why she brought it on air for people to because if the father has not been abusing her in the name of love, those names, you love her, you are such a names, calling your daughter such names is not good. So for me, I want to believe that she has been directly abused without the father knowing in the name of love that he is abusing his daughter.
I didn't even see it from that perspective. Well, thank you for your contribution. It's unfortunate that the network is so epileptic at the end of from the end of my co-host. But if she comes on again, I'll try to add her one more time. If I'm unable to add her, Obiora, please stay on. Maybe after a while I can bring you on. But let's see if she comes on again, I'll add her. So Ifechi, let's hear you.
Yeah, well, I think there are very many big complexities when it comes to these situations that we are seeing. Okay, the attitude of the parents to the lady, first of all, like I did mention, the lady did not look at the timing right timing. So for you to actually request, even including in relationships, there has to be the right time. And the conditions that we have, existing in our locality, also, changes a lot of dynamics. Human beings uh, outside outside our four squares of our country, Nigeria, operate in reality. Meanwhile, from perception, which is my own personal perception, I don't know whether it's, many people in Nigeria do not act in terms of reality. They act on assumptions, starting from the children, starting from the adults, starting from the parents. Because simply because you fulfill a demand for somebody, anytime they ask you, especially parents, they have that assumption that once we have a problem and reach out to our son or our daughter, the problem is solved. But they don't know the extent we go to solving it. And that's also forms part of the culture. Because in our culture, is somebody who has never asked you for anything, as me, your parents, they've never asked you before to give them 1,000 naira. And they open their mouth any day to come and ask you, say, our son, please send us 1,000 naira. Even if they're not doing it as if it's a demand or anything, and you have a kind heart, you have a milk heart, you remember all the things that they've done for you. Naturally, you want to fulfill that, even if it means going to borrow to give them and pay maybe with your salary the next month or pay small, because they've never asked you for anything before. So, but it depends on what they're asking you. Can you do it? And like I mentioned in our earlier talks, we said the ability to respond and say no and yes and offer explanations, for your actions. There's nothing like communication. Anything somebody is doing, you have to communicate. That's the only way to solve this problem. So I think there is a disconnect between the father and the daughter, because it only comes out from misunderstanding and anger that will make somebody to respond the way they respond to. Even in ordinary communication with people, if you don't understand where somebody is coming from, your response or vibe back to the person might be different. But if somebody tells you, hey, I have an appointment with you by 3, and you know you will not show up by 3, by 2 o'clock, you are in Ikeja when you are supposed to be in Ireland. There's no way you can make it in Ireland in the next 30 minutes. Cause the that you pick up a phone and call the person and say, sorry, I won't be able to make it. But if you decide not to go, or you decide to even go, you're still on the road. You say, after all, I've scheduled an appointment with the person, you wait for me. It's not going nowhere. By the time you get there, 1 minute past 4, I mean it's 3 o'clock or 3:30, that person might be there waiting for you because maybe the thing he wants to do or what he wants to ask you is important. But that person will never be happy that you never informed them. So parents and their children need to always have a discussion, need to always share ideas, need to always make joint plans in order to solve problems. And remember, in life, you are not important to only yourself. You exist in life in order to be able to impact the life of others. You are only recognized in life according to what you do for others, not what you do for yourself. So, irrespective of that fact, there is also an account for moderation for what you do for anybody, because you cannot take care of others when you cannot take care of yourself. But remember, if what we are saying today in terms of entitlement, that your parents said, oh, I have to be selfish to myself, I have to take care of myself, I have to fend for myself, If your father or mother or sister or anybody or relation or anybody starts doing their own thing just to satisfy their own needs and not even put you in the consideration, you might not even get to where you are today to come and start saying they are entitled or they're not entitled. But I understand the fact that the entitlement mentality for parents is also always there. It might be in form of putting needs on you that you might not be able to fulfill, or turning down your clock, or pushing you to do things that you don't want to do ordinarily, or forcing you to go into debts just to satisfy their own needs. But all boils down to having that steady communication, having that steady discussion to be able to resolve these issues. So individually, for individual basis, there are different things that can happen. There might be very, very, very many underlying things that have happened in the past, but each person has his own way. Each person has his own needs, and it all boils down to the root level of the society, which is family. Another socialization. Once a family is not able to impact the basic values and rudiments that is required by society as a standard, unspoken culture to what people are supposed to do, then these issues will keep on popping up. So that's my own take on this entitlement, entitled parents. Yeah, that's the government mentality. The only way to solve it is steady communication and discussion and changing the wheel and making, finding solutions. How do we solve this issue? Because even in terms of our general political life in our country, it's expected that when a politician gets a position, he's supposed to come back home and do third road for their village, do third road for his community. That's also an entitlement. Instead of for us looking for the greater good. So the thing is ingrained in our blood. It's ingrained in our DNA.
Tying the
So
road
it's
is
going to be
a great good now, isn't it? Tying the road is a great
that's,
good, isn't it?
that's what I'm saying now. But if we are not feeling that road must be done in our own village.
Oh,
If the
okay.
if the adjoining village that is coming to your village can have the road first as a continuity, there's no way you are going to do a road in your village when the one that is supposed to link it from the main one that is good is bad. Just because your people are supposed to be entitled to it. That's what I'm saying. If things are done properly and done in the way it's supposed to be done, there will be no issues. So if parents have that notion and is not discussed or not, discussed with their kids, and their kids don't even open up. Like some kids will say, "Daddy, mommy," they will cause the problem for themselves. They go and boast for their parents that anything you want, tell me, you will do. When you tell somebody that, then what are you expecting? They will come to you and tell you. Human beings are like that. So you want anything you want, that you tell me I will do. In that they come to you, you start saying they're entitled. They're not entitled. They're only asking for what you ask them to do. And where things are bad, your father or mother sells his only source of livelihood that he depends on for his old age, which is land or other property or something. He sells it, and then when he sells that property, and he uses the money to send you overseas, and you go to better your life. He expects that when you get okay, that you either buy him another plot of land to replace his land, or you take the cost of taking care of him. So it's a give or take. It's an unspoken contract that was signed between you and your father for before he did that, because that's like an extra stuff. So the basic thing your father and mother owes you is provide shelter for you, give you food, clothe you, and give you the rudiments to survive. That's all. Your father doesn't owe you to buy you a car. Your father doesn't owe you to send you to school. He's only going to owe you to give you the basic necessities of life. That's what society recommends. So if he goes an extra mile to make you a better person, of course, at the end of the day, it might not depend on you, because if your father is able to do, I've seen fathers who are rich, who take care of
Let
themselves at the end of
me
the day.
interrupt you briefly there. Providing for a child is parents' responsibility.
That's what I'm saying.
Parents, because you have to bring, that's why I also said in our last life that if you're not ready, don't bring children into this world.
Exactly.
Bring only the number of children you can take care of. There's no point just having kids all over the place, you know, and the daddy of all of them and the mommy of all these children when you don't even know how they will turn out tomorrow. Do you get?
Yeah, so you're right. So, but like I said before, your parents can do the best they can do for you. What they can do for you, they can do for you. So,
Yes.
entitlement mentality is going to be solved only by through discussion and communication and resolving between the kids and their parents and having a good, clear discussion. And
Yes, I will
also
interrupt you
smart.
again. I will
Yeah.
interrupt you again. You know, there are parents who have, but they are not willing to do for their kids.
Yes,
So those are
I know.
deadbeat parents. They
I
have,
know.
but they don't want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the solution will be change in attitude, change in discussions, and change in attitude, having discussions to provide solutions to solving the issue of, entitlement, because that's the only way it can be fixed. But it's a very big issue that is not as easy as ABC to solve, because it comes with a lot of things, including uh, backlash to people. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. I guess we'll have to end the live because you need to go back to work.
Yeah.
And my co-host network has really been bad. But from this second trending video that I talked about, just give me, how many more minutes do you have? Let me
I have
work with here.
3 minutes.
Oh, just 3 minutes. Okay. So I just wanted to say that last week I also said that there are a lot of people who are walking the streets back home that are traumatized. They are carrying their trauma all about. So the way this man vented out, you can tell that he is also a traumatized man. The child, look at everything he said to that child just because she was asking for an iPhone 8. Not iPhone 15, no, iPhone 8. That's what she asked for. That's what she asked for. And look at everything he said to her. He called her names, he ridiculed her and all that. She's gonna carry that as some trauma as well, as some form of trauma as well. And I want to conclude by saying that we people back home, they need therapy. Many people back home, they need therapy. So aside from communication between parents and children, like you said, there's need for therapy from time to time so that some of these are cruel and crude way of raising our kids. We can do it with them and embrace a better and more, loving way of raising kids. So I think that's how we end it tonight. I won't be here alone. So yeah, so that's it from me. Thank you so much, Ifechi. Thank you, our viewers. And thank you for all my co-hosts. I'm really sorry that you couldn't join to give your complete opinion. Thank you, Mr. Ikejon. Thank you, Siboso. Thank you for everyone that joined us today, and thank you for our viewers. We'll see you again next Tuesday with a different topic. All right, then. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.